Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Deep Fog. If you're a fan of horror and you've never heard the name Junji Ito, then allow me to bless you with the knowledge that there is no other man who does horror manga better than Mr. Ito. His work has influenced countless others, and he has told some of the most frightening stories I have ever seen put to page. Some standouts for me are his works such as The Hanging Balloons and The Enigma of Amigara Fault. I think I said that right. However, Mr. Ito has one consistent problem that has sadly plagued his work for years: bad adaptations. No matter how hard someone tries, no matter how many adaptations his works receive, studios of any kind cannot seem to get it right. This brings us to his most popular story, Uzumaki. For those unaware, Uzumaki is a story involving the mystery of a town cursed by the mere concept of spirals, and the downfall of their town as we watch the spiral envelop anything and everything it can grasp onto. If you've never read it, I highly recommend you do that. It's such an amazing story, and I just cannot recommend it enough. But if you know what you're getting into, strap in, because we're about to go into the downward spiral that was the Uzumaki anime. Flashback with me for a minute. The year is 2019, and I was but a young lad browsing through social media when I stumbled across a teaser that had me kicking my feet in joy. The first teaser for a newly announced Uzumaki anime set to premiere on Adult Swim had been released. The announcement came from Crunchyroll's 2019 Anime Expo, and the fans at the time remember the pure hype that surrounded this release. To put it in perspective, all of Junji Ito's previous adaptations, from even a glance, had a clear lack of quality that was present in all of his manga work. From the mediocre live-action Uzumaki movie to the shitty Netflix anthology series, every single adaptation up to this point clearly had no regard for the source material it was going off of. However, this one was different. The teaser was following the black and white art style present in all of his work. The rotoscope animation was smooth and eerie. Hell, they had Colin Stetson, the man who created the soundtrack for Hereditary, coming on to do the soundtrack for this. Junji Ito fans were being fed well. This was all setting up to be nothing short of a miracle for the fan base, and it was shaping up to be the adaptation we were all waiting for. However, just as a spiral may appear beautiful on the surface, something darker was lurking underneath. After this teaser drop, we sadly wouldn't receive another update for 2 whole years. This was a dark period for the fans, unsure of what was entirely going on with the show. We waited patiently, itching for more, hoping that we weren't going to get a cancellation announcement, until in June of 2021 we finally received an update video from the director himself. Along with this video, we finally got a release date, October of 2022. Although the director was asking for more time to complete the project than originally intended, this was no problem to the fans, as we had already been waiting very, very patiently. So a little more time to clean up this amazing production was not a problem whatsoever. However, this would mark the beginning of a frightening pattern that would scare even the strongest of Ito fans. October of 2022 was slowly approaching, and we had yet to hear any word on the show. This was a little confusing, but many held out hope, until our fears came true.
Thanks to everyone for their interest and positive comments about our Uzumaki anime adaptation. Unfortunately, the premiere date of the series must again be delayed. In order to replicate the quality of the intricate designs and detailed line work of Mr. Ito's classic manga, director Nagahama and the production team have asked for additional time to recreate Ito's masterpiece properly. As much as we'd like to deliver the show to the public as soon as possible, we don't want to compromise its quality by delivering a mediocre final product. We remain fully committed to pursuing the completion of this work at the highest caliber. We'll be back with a firm premiere date once we are confident this adaptation is as good as we know it can be. Thank you for continuing patience and support. Uzumaki Anime Production Team, June 24th, 2022.
The show had once again been delayed. Oh, shit. This is when fans started getting worried. This show was a miniseries, only clocking in at 4 episodes. These multitude of delays were very strange for something that had been presumably being worked on since early 2019, and although COVID-19 had caused a minor delay in the work process, there were still about 3 full years of estimated time that had been put into the series. However, Ito fans were strong-willed, and continued to hold out hope that this was nothing more than the team truly putting in their all to make sure this series turned out as good as it could possibly be. Out of seemingly nowhere, Adult Swim decided to release yet another sneak peek in July of 2023, and this one had the fans once again overjoyed as the show finally had some actual new content to be seen, and it did not disappoint. The animation here was incredible, and truly looked like it was taken straight from Ito's pages and put onto the screen. Clearly, we had nothing to worry about. Clearly, all this time they had taken was for the greater good, and for the quality of the show. Right? Well, after a bit more waiting, we finally got a full trailer in early September of 2024, revealing the show would air that same month. Yes, this is what we've been waiting for. The team had done it. It's been 5 long years, but we finally made it. This is going to be great. This is everything we want. Finally, the long-awaited day arrived. September 28th, 2024. The first episode released, and it was actually amazing. First episode was everything we had been promised. A faithful, almost one-to-one adaptation of the first 2 chapters of the manga. This episode was golden, quite honestly movie-quality production that, to this day, may stand as one of my favorite first episodes of any show ever. And this episode was truly the best adaptation of Junji Ito's work to date. This is what the fans were expecting. This is what we were wanting. And clearly, this set a very high bar for the following episodes, and me and other fans around the world could not wait for the release of the next 3. Ito fans had a lot to be excited for. The following 3 episodes may be the saddest downfall of quality that I've seen to date in a television show. While doing its best to stick to the source material, it found itself pressing plot lines into shorter segments or flat out ignoring them entirely, having odd pacing, worse shots, and even worse animation. It was a tragedy that struck the hearts of Ito fans everywhere, and it truly was hard to watch, as, although me and many others fought through it, the sudden shift in quality was genuinely jarring and made it nearly impossible. It was unfathomable. Who was to blame for this? Well, after intense backlash, it was later revealed that the first episode was actually created by an entirely different studio than the latter 3, and had the longest time and most work put into it. This was very clear to even the average viewer. Jason DeMarco, the producer of the show, took to social media to reveal that he felt the show had been screwed over, to put it lightly. He said, quote,
"It's fine. We knew this would happen. I can't talk about what went down, but we were screwed over. And the options were A, not finish and air nothing and call it a loss. B, just finish and air episode 1 and leave it incomplete. Or C, run all 4, warts and all. Out of respect for the hard work, we chose C."
To also clear up some confusion, he continued by saying,
"After waiting for so long, it makes sense people would be mad. Unfortunately, I can't tell them who to blame it on. But someone is definitely at fault here. And we all just had to do our best when things imploded. Maybe others would have made different choices. We did the best we could with what we had."
So, that was that. This is sadly what we had to work with. Although Uzumaki remains an amazing horror story expertly crafted by the genius mind of Ito, it sadly found itself at the helm of yet another garbage adaptation. However, I would like to throw it out there that I do not hold any contempt for those who were on the production of this show. I fully believe that everyone who worked on this did their best with what they were given. Every piece of media, no matter how it may look, had hundreds of people pouring their hearts and souls into the project, and this was no different. This came down to issues outside of the team's control and what was seemingly them being rushed to complete the project as soon as possible. Sadly, this is the best adaptation we have at the moment of any of Ito's works. But for now, that's okay. His stories work best in the form that they're told, and perhaps they're just destined to never receive a good adaptation. But this one in particular can be chopped down to greedy execs and a rushed team that tried their best, but in the end, were caught in the never-ending spiral of the nightmare that can be the anime industry. That first episode was still really fucking good though. Oh my. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you appreciated this because this was something I was very, very passionate about and have been wanting to make a video on for quite a minute now. So, sorry I was gone for a bit, but I'm back. And yeah, thank you all so much. Love ya. Bye-bye.